Hi and welcome to another shorter, hopefully, episode of the We Nearly Roads podcast. And you're going to have to do something about those clothes. You're going to walk around town dressed like that, you're liable to get shot. David.
Yeah, okay, I've got a really good joke this week. Neil.
Okay, great, okay. But David.
Yeah, but I want to do the joke.
Where was the quote from? What was the quote?
From a film, from Back to the Future.
Right,
3.
Which one?
From Back to the Future 3.
And what was the next line?
I don't know.
You're liable to get shot or hanged, because it's a scene where Buford Mad Dog Tennant and his gang drag Marty through the streets and hang him before Doc saves him by shooting the rope. And trivia fact for you, in this scene, Michael J. Fox almost accidentally got hung for real. So, joke, David.
I did know that. I knew that fact.
Right, so do you have a joke for us, David? Or a film fact or anything of significance?
Okay, because you took away my joke last time. I've got a joke, right?
You didn't have one.
So, me and Natasha. A bunch of Natasha's friends are having babies right now. So Natasha's getting broody, as you do. So we were discussing baby names, right? So I go to Natasha. I reckon Harley would be a really good name for a boy, if we had one. And she, you know what? After a little bit of discussion, she agreed with me, and she thought Harley was a brilliant name for a boy. And do you know why, Neil?
Do I?
Because when the boy's older, he can introduce himself as, "Hi, I'm Harley, David's son." And she wouldn't know. His entire life would be a dad joke.
Oh my God. That is pretty bad. And I think that borders on child abuse, if I'm honest.
It probably is. But I'm going to see how far I can roll with this. See how far I can get it.
Yeah, well,
when we have children and we name it Harley, you'll know why.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we're gonna try and wipe that from my memory banks. So first up, ring the klaxon, because we finally have a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. Now, quick shout out to the guys over at That Superhero Thing. I did have to send them a message this morning to make sure they hadn't actually spontaneously combusted, because they have been more excited over there than any other podcast, I think.
I'm surprised they haven't passed out. Like, they just didn't have a brain aneurysm, straight away when it happened.
I knew the trailer had dropped this morning when I woke up, and I already saw them, ridiculous o'clock this morning, doing a scene-by-scene breakdown of the trailer. So I was like, I will be looking at that later. So, shout out to those guys for basically queuing us in on a bit more than we even know. So, first off, thoughts on the trailer. Well, I wasn't overly blown away on the first viewing, and I think maybe that could be because it actually wasn't still supposed to come out. So where it got leaked...
Yeah, that leak really fucked it over, probably.
Yeah, so, I mean, of course, everyone's blaming Scarlett Johansson for it. I joke.
But they did release it, a day after that leaked. Coincidence? There's nothing special about today, is there? That we don't know about?
Well, actually, no, so. Yes. Apparently... The date, August 23rd, is in the date in WandaVision that is circled on the calendar with the heart on it. So, did they mean it?
Oh, you know what? That sort of level of detail, that wouldn't surprise me if they did mean it.
Yeah,
nice exactly. Digging there, Neil. I'm gonna just find that scene just to see it.
Yeah.
Do you know what episode that is? Or where did you get that picture? Do you know what? Send it to me. Send it to me alone.
I haven't got it right now. I felt like someone else obviously done their work, and I saw it on Twitter, like everything. The first bit I really loved in the trailer, though, was, "Yes, my Spider Lord." That was the line of the trailer for me. That was brilliant.
Yeah, when he's got mind control powers as Spider-Man.
Over women.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
The Daily Bugle's rise to prominence and fame through this reveal of him being Spider-Man. I liked how it kicked off straight away, literally straight after the events of No Way From Home.
Yeah, I think what we're going to get is we're kind of going to get
No Way From Home. There's too many homes.
And this one's got home in it as well. I think this is going to almost be like Spider-Man Endgame, in that the first sort of 20 minutes, half an hour, is going to be dealing with all the fallout of what happened in the last film. And also, we see him in The Lawyer, and now everyone's immediately going, "That's Matt Murdock. That's Matt Murdock. That's clearly Daredevil." And do you know why they're saying that? Because he's not looking at him when he slams the papers down. So I think that's quite a good... he could just be talking to someone else across the screen. But yeah, I think it's a good bet. It's probably Matt Murdock there.
It could, yeah, but if it is Matt Murdock, it almost becomes there's going to be too many characters, too many references in this film to just contain in one film.
Well, unless they just keep it as...
every other character that there's going to be in every other cameo that we're going to have.
Well, not necessarily. It literally could just be, "He's your lawyer," and they don't even...
Siri,
the rest of them
Siri, what are you doing? Okay. Thank you. The Pluto demotion day has been cancelled if you cared, Neil.
I did not, and I don't think our listeners did either. So, we're moving on from that. We get more spider drama as we see Peter, now he's revealed as the bad guy by the media, and we can see how it's kind of impacting all his friends and family. You can kind of see that there's that quick shot of all of them looking, strained by the pressure of being,
fucking Jonah Jameson. What's he got? What's up his arse? What's his problem?
An Oscar. But I actually reckon Matt Murdock gets him off. Let me rephrase that. I reckon Matt Murdock proves his innocence. Because you see him at the school, right? So if he'd been accused of murder straight away and it all follows afterwards, they wouldn't let him go back to school. So I reckon Matt Murdock gets him cleared, but everyone's still a bit not sure.
Yeah, or he's just, out on bail or something.
I don't think you get out on bail if you're a superhero, man.
I don't know. To be honest, I don't know how American law works that well. Or, our law, for that matter. But I just know not to kill people. To just silence the voices in my head. We also then meet Doctor Strange in a snowstorm. And the next great little joke line in the trailer, that's weird, but I'll allow it. Yeah, did you see the mug that he had as well?
No, what was the mug?
It said, fuck you, Fox, or something on it.
Really?
It's something like that. It was a picture of a fox, and it said it was like, it said something like, shut up, Fox. Something like that.
Shut up, Fox.
I'm not 100% sure what it was, but it was a joke on Fox.
But then we get the plot. And we know the plot of the whole film is essentially that Peter asks Dr. Stephen Strange to do a spell that will make the whole world forget he was Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know, Peter, that seems a little bit of a stretch. And now you fucked it up by interrupting Dr. Strange, who's now messed up the spell. Now, this seems a bit weird, and a lot of people commented, why Dr. Strange is like Mr. by the rules in the Avengers films, isn't he? He's like, nothing will fuck with anything.
He's Mr. by the... but he's not in Doctor Strange...
the first one,
film.
But that's because he was learning.
He's still learning, yeah. He's not the Sorcerer Supreme. I mean, is he even been confirmed as the Sorcerer Supreme at the moment?
Yeah, don't they call him that in Endgame? I'm pretty sure he's called that in Endgame.
Okay.
That. But here's the question. A lot of people are complaining. Is that actually Doctor Strange?
What, a multiversal version of him, or someone in disguise? But
could it be Agatha?
I see what you're saying. Okay.
The way he says... when Wong says, don't do that spell. He's like, of course I won't. And then he winks. That's exactly the same way that Agatha did it. No,
I didn't think of that.
And of course, we know Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, with Elizabeth Olsen. So could that all be linked? And of course, here it is. Yeah, you got Wong. This is so hard to say even when I wrote it. Wong warned him. And the way he says it, it makes me think Agatha.
Yeah, and Wong's clearly off on holiday. We know where he's going. He's going to Shang-Chi.
Yeah, he's off to Shang-Chi. Bit of cage fighting with Abomination. I don't think, and a lot of people are saying this seems really out of character for Doctor Strange. And I agree, but obviously there's got to be more to it than that. I don't think it's on purpose that we're showing him thing. Also, bizarrely, Doctor Strange is in this trailer a lot. You would think it was Doctor Strange 2.
It was almost his own film, yeah.
Yeah. It was like, okay,
he's obviously going to be a massive part of it.
I wonder if like when the whole multiverse thing opens up that we see, that he gets sucked off somewhere. That's, again, bad choice of words. He ends up going somewhere with Wanda, and she like drags him off somewhere, and then that's how Peter gets stuck in this alternate reality, maybe.
Yeah,
they have to
separate him and away from it.
I think, they have to separate him from the wizard.
Solo threat, because if you get rid of the person that's got all the answers and you leave him stranded alone, there's no way home. Maybe.
Oh, see what you did there. But and then of course we get our Electro sighting. Kind of, we see a bit of yellow electricity. So everyone's like, because again, it's confirmed that Jamie Foxx as Electro is in it. I think he was like the first person confirmed.
Yeah. So yellow instead of blue lightning, like in the film. Yeah. So it's a different Electro. So hopefully an entirely different fucking take on the character.
A better one.
Yeah.
And then you got a Green Goblin bomb.
Yes, I was fucking excited by that. When that sort of rolled in, I was like, oh, the nostalgia. And then the nostalgia of the...
the line?
Of the... what line? What, the hello...
Well, he said...
Hello.
No. You've jumped ahead. That's the end.
Sorry, let's go back.
We've got... Be careful what you wish for, Parker. Who said that? I'm guessing maybe Dafoe? William Dafoe? Green Goblin?
Okay. I'm not sure now. I kind of... I want to re-listen to that trailer. Because when I watched it first, I thought it was Doctor Strange that said that. But now I'm not sure.
No, I don't think
it can't have been. It definitely wasn't Doctor Strange.
It's got to be one of the villains.
Okay.
And again, a lot of people are positing that this is to set up to the Sinister Six. Sinister Six.
Yes, yeah, Sinister Six.
But they're quite serious
because Sony was trying to tease, wasn't it, at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2? during the credit scene, it was all like you went through all the Sinister Six sort of stuff. But
but as Peacemaker said, he'll eat a bag of dicks, as should Sony. Also, one thing I'm really glad about is that the rumoured OG appearances of like Tobey Maguire and Garfield were not shown in the trailer.
Yes.
Not even hinted at. That's cool. We didn't want to see that.
Yes.
And of course, we know the ending of the trailer, David. Take it. What we got at the end?
What with Octavius, Dr. Octavius coming out.
Hello, hello, Peter.
Hello, Peter. Oh, that line. He's looking good, man. He's looking
But
good for his age. Obviously,
here's the thing.
No CGI
Alfred
work.
Molina. But what Doc Ock is he going to be? Is he the one who was kind of on his way to redemption at the end? Or is he before, again, because it's a multiverse one, we don't know what type.
Yeah, I'm hoping he's the villainous. I'm hoping he's, because that Spider-Man film was the first, like, proper, it was brilliant. Spider-Man 2 was fucking fantastic. One of the best superhero films, like, in general.
We got full Raimi, didn't we?
That film was fucking fantastic. And just imagine, like, what they were able to do then with his, his powers. Are they powers? They're not really powers, are they? It's just fucking just technology. But
it's octopus limbs.
How they could, like, the action scenes we can get with that now.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Just everything. Oh, you could just.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this is going to be. This is clearly easily going to be the number one film of Christmas, isn't it? 17th of December, it's due out in the UK. And I mean, it's going to destroy everything. That's going to be the film, man. But before that, we've got 2 more Marvel films. We've got Shang-Chi coming out in about a week's time, and it has just got 4-star review in Empire magazine, and generally very good reviews across the board. So I will be going to see that in the next week or so when it's out.
We should put together to see that if you want.
Yeah, man, I'm good. I'll definitely see that. I'm not going to sound a podcast when I go because I don't want people going because I like a quiet small cinema. So yeah, definitely, man. We will sort that out for that. And then we've got the Eternals. The Eternals coming after Shang-Chi, before Spider-Man. This is why I think the Spider-Man trailer was leaked and it coming out today wasn't purposed, because you've got an Eternals trailer just last week as well, or maybe the week before. I forget now.
I want to know how they're all going to link. So with like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, it's like there's a bloody obvious link there, and even with some of the TV shows. But Eternals, Shang-Chi, and No Way, like the Spider-Man film, but there's no, I don't know. There's no obvious link.
Spider-Man obviously links to Doctor Strange too, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, that all of that was obvious. It's Shang-Chi and Eternals, mainly Eternals.
Well, we've got Wong fighting Abomination in Shang-Chi, so that's your link to that.
Yeah.
So probably, in Doctor Strange 2, Wong will be like, I met this guy in a cage fight.
Yeah,
who helped me out.
Yeah, but mainly Eternals. Unless they're just holding back on sort of cameos or holding back on like character appearances.
I don't think you need any cameos in the Eternals with the amount of characters in it. And that's what we're going to get into. So, in our final trailer for now Oscar winner Chloe Zhao's Eternals, it's due out in November and it's supposed to be only in cinemas. But, depending on where we are with our winter outbreaks again, will it be on Disney Plus as well? Now, I hadn't been blown away by the earlier Eternals trailers, as it did give away very little in terms of plot. And it looked like the other Chloe Zhao stuff, and it just had some very nice cinematography. That kind of elegic...
Yeah. It almost looked like Dennis Villeneuve. Terrence
Malick.
His name, didn't I? Did I butcher his name?
Dennis Villeneuve.
Yes, Dennis Villeneuve. Yeah. It looked like a Dennis Villeneuve film. Like a rival, almost.
But now, this new final trailer is what we've been waiting for as it continues the main MCU storyline, because you've got your direct references to Thanos and Endgame in its opening lines. Now, I've got to admit, firstly, I know absolutely nothing about the Eternals at all. And David, without Googling or doing any research, did you?
Without doing any research before...
I'm completely honest.
No,
me neither.
Not a bloody clue, mate. I mean, even researching into it, I still feel like I ain't got a fucking clue. Like who the Celestials are, who the Eternals are. Apparently, we've already had a Celestial in the MCU.
Well,
and there's been references to like 2 and 3. Yeah, and I'm okay.
I think we've researched the same places.
It's very confusing. Yeah.
Well, the simple version is that the Eternals are an immortal alien race created by entities called the Celestials, and they have been tasked with protecting Earth from the deviants, which are their misshapen evil counterparts. Now, that's the short version. Our trivia, which, as we mentioned, the giant head that we first saw in Guardians of the Galaxy called Nowhere is actually the severed head of a dead Celestial. And as far as we know, that is the first appearance in the MCU. And also our second one is Ego the Living Planet. He's Celestial, and that's Peter Quill's dad from Guardians. So that makes Peter half a Celestial, as we learn in Guardians 2. Yeah. Back to the trailer.
There's also the one, I think it's in Guardians 2 as well, where we see the image of someone destroying a planet with the Power Stone.
Yes,
good shout. That was the third one. Anyway, so it's the same sort of face helmet. It's the same. It was the same Celestial that you see that they then cut to in space.
Was it? I'm not sure.
Yeah, with the same. Yeah, he had the 6 eyes or 6, holes in his face.
But anyway, we learned that the Hulk.
Go on.
But anyway, we learned that the Hulk's snap back generated so much power that it caused something called the Emergence. Now, this in turn will cause the end of all life on Earth in 7 days' time. We learn that the Eternals came to Earth about 7 years ago to protect us from the Deviants, and we get Homelander Robb Stark using his laser eyes to fight a sea monster.
Homelander Robb Stark.
Dude, if you look right, he looks just like Homelander, but it's Robb Stark, and he's using his laser eyes to fight a sea monster. I don't know how else I could say it. But do you know what?
I think he looks like Homelander.
Dude, look at he's got a blue suit on, he's got blonde hair, and he's shooting lasers from his eyes.
I mean, the laser eyes, okay, I'll give you that. Although, okay.
Just watch it again multiple times until I'm clearly right. But what I liked most about the whole trailer was the next line where I think it's Jon Snow who says, "Well, why didn't you help with all of history's atrocities?" And then you got Gemma Chan's Cersei. I mean, seriously, what is it with the Game of Thrones names? You've literally got people. Yeah. So she tells him it's because they were not allowed to interfere in any human conflicts unless deviants were involved. So then he asks the big question: Who? By who? And then we get a shot of a rather imposing-looking massive Celestial, and he is called, David, Arisham the Judge. And his basic bag is that if he decides a civilization or a planet should be wiped out for the greater good, then he just does it. So far, so Thanos, right? And also that just basically makes him like Q from Star Trek. So you kind of notice that when you get to these grand galactic cosmic storylines, they're all pretty much the same, unfortunately, in some ways. But then we get our recruitment montage with Robb Stark assembling his team of Eternals. And we get our first joke around 1 minute 40 with a quip about sarcasm. Didn't really land for me, that joke, because it didn't feel in kind of,
Oh, yeah, none of the jokes in the Eternals trailer landed like a joke for me.
We'll get to how it ends on a wet fart as well. We learn that the Eternals love humanity and are there to protect us. And then we see a bus explode into petals in Camden, of all places.
Yeah, that was a pretty awesome scene. It was like rose petals, like she loves him. He's human. He's going to turn out to be a knight of some sort whose name I've forgotten. Black Knight, maybe. I think that is it. He's an Avenger.
And again, the names. We'll get onto the names in a minute. We get a baddie that speaks. You can't protect any of them, as he warns us. And of course, Angelina Jolie, who's quite a big name, and she's barely in the trailer. And she just looks like an extra from Wonder Woman in her fight scene, really, didn't she?
Yeah, she's just energy weapons and.
Yeah, I was like. Just like running around. I was like, okay, you're just off. They let you off the island for a little bit, didn't you?
I think one of the Eternals, Celestials, Eternals.
The Eternals are the characters. The Celestials are their bosses.
One of the Eternals' powers, I think, is technology. I'm quite interested to find out where they go with him. He's like his ability to that's his power is like. And
of course, as we get to the end of the trailer, we've got is it a joke? It's a myth.
What, the IKEA table?
Robb Stark breaks a table because he thinks it's vibranium. Oh no, that's full collection from IKEA. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
even in the first trailer, the jokes that they had were a bit shit. I think it would almost be better if they just didn't bother. Just don't bother with the jokes.
I mean, someone hit it on the note. I forget where I read it online, but someone on our pod list on Twitter said, wouldn't it just be better if we saw... If you want to fit a joke in, just have one of the Eternals shitting in a bucket. Boom. There you go. There's your. And living out in the desert. Yeah, make it Robb Stark. But do you know what? What was good is that now we know the basic plot of the film. It's a race against time. They've got 7 days to stop the bad guys, and they need to assemble a team. Cool. Nice and simple, right? But we still don't get told any of the characters' names or even what their powers are. Now, I don't know if Marvel expect us to go and Google them and get all the intel and get all this kind of knowledge, but I mean, that's a vast collection of new characters that are being introduced, and we're not given one name in the trailer. Not one.
There's going to have to be some sort of massive sort of
exposition
dump at the very beginning of the film. Otherwise, everyone's just going to be like, who the fuck are these people? Why do we care?
That's Robb Stark. That's Jon Snow. That's in the engineer. Because, I mean, that's when I was writing my notes for this. I was like, I do not know these characters'
why the fuck's
names.
Lara Croft hanging out with Robb Stark?
That's a spin-off we never knew we wanted or needed or wanted. But you know what? At least this last trailer felt very Marvel to me. So, after the last trailer feeling very Chloe Zhao, I think what we're going to get now is hopefully a nice marriage between the two when the Eternals arrives November 4th. Hopefully.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how she deals with action, because she's not done anything to suggest that she could do that well. So I'm really excited to see where she can go with that and how she balances it throughout the film.
Well, I'm assuming she's got a massive SFX budget because if I remember rightly, I read something where she showed some test shots she did to Kevin Feige, and he was like, "That's amazing," and then she's like, "Oh, by the way, there's no SFX on that. That's just natural light and really shit hot directors and camera people," and he was blown away. So, and I imagine he was like, "Yep, if she can make regular life look like that, then."
But then again, like Colin Trevorrow before he did like Jurassic World, he didn't like what the fuck had he done, And he smashed that out of the park.
He did. Safety not guaranteed.
Yeah,
which was awesome little indie film with Jake Johnson and Aubrey Plaza.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and then of course the same thing happened with the guy who did Fantastic Four, Josh Trank, did Chronicle. Oh, he's going to be good. He was on to do a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
I don't think Josh Trank's ever going to be close to winning an Oscar, and Chloe Zhao already has. So I'm very excited about all the Marvel stuff coming out now, man. I mean, I general level of excitement for all three of them. I think Shang-Chi is going to be a little bit generic in its story, but
it'll be quite it'll go back to sort of the beginning of Phase 1, sort of with how Captain Marvel sort of didn't land as well as sort of all the rest of the films that are coming out in Phase,
which is ironic because she can fly.
Yeah. Did it? It was all because it was like taking a step back, wasn't it? Just to go a little bit forward. But I'm hoping Shang-Chi doesn't. But then again, if you've said that it's already got decent reviews, then it's already done better than Captain Marvel, because I don't think Captain Marvel came out with 4-star reviews.
Well, I think it did. Some places 3 to 4 stars. I don't think it was generally shitted on. I think more people don't like it now, which is stupid because it is a good film. It's a solid 4-star for me, Captain Marvel. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think the performance is fine. I think we're done with Marvel for now, but again, shitloads of stuff coming in the next couple of weeks. But David, I have just seen a brand new show that I am quite into after one episode, and it is called Heelz.
You've only watched one episode?
Yeah, it's called Heelz, and it's on Starzlay from Loki showrunner Michael Waldron, which, David, is a drama series about shoes in the women's fashion industry. Have I sold it to you?
It's not about fucking shoes in the women's fashion industry.
No, it's definitely not. It's actually a drama series about pro wrestling in a small town in Georgia, starring Arrow's Stephen Amell and Vikings Alexander Ludwig as two brothers, Jack and Ace Spade, who are rivals in and out of the ring. Now, I mean, I'm a big pro wrestling fan, so I love this. And first of all, yes, we all know wrestling is scripted, and indeed the opening of the show sees Ace writing the script for that night's card of matches. But it's the promos, it's the music, it's the pop of the crowd that really make wrestling the entertainment/sport it really is. And Amell himself has actually been involved briefly in wrestling, having matches in WWE, Ring of Honor, and AEW. So even though he's an actor, he knows that world and he's been involved in it. In wrestling terms, a heel is a bad guy, so the name of the show, being Heelz, suggests that there's actually more than one bad guy in his show.
It's not Devil Wears Prada, the show.
No, not even close. Amell plays Jack Spade. He's the eldest son of Tom Spade, who was a local legend in his time and owner of their local wrestling company that Jack now runs, where he plays the top heel and champion bad guy. Bjorn Ironside, Ludwig, plays Ace Spade, his younger brother, and he's the top face of the company. However, outside the ring, you see their roles are completely reversed, with Jack being a good church-going family man who's doing all he can to keep the company going, take care of all the wrestlers and be a good husband and father. Well, Ace, the supposed good guy, is a thief, a drug addict, cheats on his girlfriend, and is the complete opposite of his character in real life. One bit I really liked is you've got a young actress called Kelly Berglund playing Crystal Tyler, and she's Ace's already suffering girlfriend. And even in the first episode, you got the sense that she already has a better mind for the business than some of the men and wants to be a wrestler herself. So already I was like hooked. I was like, oh, she's going to have a good story as the show progresses. You got Chris Bauer from True Blood turning up as Wild Bill Hancock. He looks, he's just like a former star who's now a scout for the Boys Up North, which is a thinly veiled reference to WWE. And the crux of the first episode is that he's visiting to scout Ace for the big leagues, and Jack has to decide what is best for business. Does he let Ace win, and then he'll leave and go off with the champion and leave them behind? Whereas if the hero falls on his first attempt, it'll prolong the story leading to a bigger payoff for them down the line. So it's an interesting dynamic, as both brothers are selfish in their own ways, and I like that there's scope for both characters to turn as the series goes on. Also, current AEW superstar CM Punk is in some later episodes of the show, and if you want to see an example of a red hot wrestling crowd, watch the clips on YouTube of his return the other week in AEW. I'll definitely be sticking with this one.
Watch anything of CM Punk.
Yeah,
anything.
The man
CM Punk's fucking awesome. He's money. He's money in
legend.
wrestling. Like, that's it.
Yeah, you look up the stats on his YouTube views for his first comeback thing, and it's amazing. I'll definitely be there ringside whenever AEW does their first show in the next year or so. And next on to a couple of short non-spoiler reviews.
Sorry, mate.
Films.
I've got a few questions on this show that you've been trying to talk about. So
Go
you
ahead.
say it's on Star and Disney Plus, right? So okay, I can watch
No,
that.
Stars Play on Amazon. So you have to pay extra for it.
Okay.
Not Star on Disney Plus. Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. Now I'm gonna. Is it another wrestling show that I've watched? Glow. The gorgeous ladies of wrestling. How would you compare it to Glow?
Not at all.
Okay.
What I think the big difference is, this is real sort of low budget indie wrestling. This is like, I mean, Glow kind of charts their progress, doesn't it? And this show could do the same, because again, I've only seen one episode. But Glow sort of charts them from starting out as kind of a joke to starting to sell out places and becoming a big hit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, this show's probably going to follow a similar path. But I like that it's real sort of super low budget in the way it's done, in its aesthetic.
Does it have less comedic elements to it?
Yeah, it's definitely more drama.
It's
definitely more like a... Yeah. I think, like you say, Glow's more a comedy / drama, whereas this is more a drama with more drama. Okay. I mean, you've clearly got stuff to do with like pill addiction, alcohol addiction. They're really going to go in on all the sort of the negative stereotypes associated with wrestling, but hopefully show the good side of it as well. And yeah, I mean, I really liked the first episode. One of my friends actually told me about it. I knew it was coming out soon, but I didn't know it was out already. So I've got the second episode to watch soon, and I was very impressed with that first one, and I'll definitely be sticking with it. But Glow, unfortunately, didn't get its final season because it got cancelled, but that was because of COVID, apparently. So yeah, I mean, it was.
I think Glow, why they cancelled it. I thought it was quite popular.
It was popular, but not popular enough to guarantee another season. And I think a lot of the actresses in it have become bigger because of the show, and obviously other shows are poaching them to be leads in their own shows. I mean, Alison Brie, she came from Community, where she was like, part of the ensemble cast, which, again, one of my all-time favourite sitcoms. And then this was her first kind of big dramatic role on the show, and again, she was brilliant in that. So she's a big enough name to headline her own show now. So on to a couple of films that I've seen in the last week, but David hasn't yet. So these will be non-spoiler reviews. And the first one is Free Guy, the long-awaited, delayed Ryan Reynolds Jodie Comer film. Now, directed by Sean Levy of Stranger Things fame, basically it's Ryan Reynolds in The Truman Show, spliced with a little bit of Grand Theft Auto. So he plays an NPC, which is a non-playable character for people who don't know about video games, but I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this, you would know about video games. He's called Guy, and he works in a bank and repeats the same routine every day of getting robbed and beaten up by the Sunglass People, who are the actual players of the game. Jodie Comer's Molotov girl.
People.
It's all in the opening video, man.
They just have sunglasses.
And that's, it's all to do with, like, there's loads of jokes to do with skins for players, and like, take your skin off. I can't. Stuff like that. Who gave you that skin? And it's like, take it off or we're going to kill you. It's, it's funny stuff like that. Jodie Comer plays Molotov Girl, who's a character in the game, but she's also a disgruntled former programmer called Millie in the real world. So she gets to play two roles, Avatar in the game and the programming girl Millie in real life. And she's trying to find
She's our Wade Watson, is she?
Yeah, pretty much. It's very Ready Player One in places as well. And she's trying to find evidence that massive prick game boss, Antoine, played brilliantly by Taika Waititi, stole her code for his game. Also of note, and he's barely mentioned anything, is Stranger Things Joe Keery, Steve Harrington himself, and he plays Millie's ex-co-worker who's working for the evil company, and she's trying to get him on her side as the film goes on. But he's in it a lot more than I thought, man, and he's really good.
He's not in the trailer, is he?
No, he's not in the trailer.
I don't think he is.
No, he might be in it briefly, actually, but he's pretty much the third main character in the film. and he gives her support throughout. So it's a Truman Show meets Ready Player One with a smidge of Grand Theft Auto, and Reynolds, though, this is my only little problem, and it's a really good film, but it's essentially he's essentially doing Deadpool without the mask and as much swearing. But it is a very entertaining film, man. It's like
with a shit ton of cameos, I hear, or I've seen, because Reynolds has posted it online.
No, he shouldn't have. He shouldn't have spoiled them, man.
Yeah, he said who's in it. He's posted it on Twitter. He's posted photographs of him, thanking him for being on the show. I'm not going to say who, but there's fucking massive stars.
What an arsehole. What an arsehole. Fucking... No, I forgive him because he's Ryan Reynolds. That said, it's a very entertaining, much-needed standard blockbuster. It's thoroughly enjoyable, despite not having a bone of originality in it. And like you just mentioned, there are some amazing voice and actual cameos hidden in the film that we will not spoil here. I mean, for me, the biggest reaction in the film wasn't a cameo as such, but it was a piece of music. There's a certain bit of music that drops, and if the cinema had been full, it would have gone wild.
What would get people's music-wise? I don't know, like the fucking Jaws theme tune? Nah, that wouldn't get it. Jurassic Park. Nah.
We haven't got enough time for you.
I'm going to go for Harry Potter.
We haven't got enough time for you to speculate, and you're wrong. But my own minor annoyance with the film is actually with Reynolds' character, because he's a little bit too snarky at the beginning of the film. There's a whole bit where when he realises and gets shown he is actually a character in a game, and he has that whole Truman Show moment where I'm alive, I can do stuff. And he also gets glasses, so he can see the hub of the game and be like, right,
yeah, that's in the trailer.
Now I can do stuff. Yeah, exactly, it's in the trailer. And so then he's got to learn how to level up. So that's cool, man. It's just very entertaining. But I think Reynolds is too Reynolds. Before that point, he should have been a lot more blander, and before that point. But you know what? It's a perfectly acceptable summer blockbuster. I give it 4
So
Neils.
you think Ryan Reynolds is almost playing himself too much in his own films now? Like he's playing this character of himself.
A little bit, but I mean, and there's certain mileage on that. Like a lot of people love it, and I'm one of those people, but it's going to get a bit samey soon.
Yeah.
I mean, he can easily pivot and just do. I'd love to see him just pivot and do like a really hardcore drama at some point, and be like really good acting, because the guy's capable of pretty much anything. But I give it 4 stars. I'm very happy with Free Guy. But apparently there are rumours there could be a Free Guy too.
It didn't sound like you liked it. It didn't sound like you liked it at all.
No, I really enjoyed it.
For you to say, I'm really surprised you gave it 4 stars there.
Yeah, no,
it sounded like you hated it. Most okay.
What are you on about? I just didn't like Reynolds. Being a bit too snarky at the start of the film. Everything else was positive.
Okay, I was expecting you to give like a 3 or a 2 star.
No, man. I mean, I said it's not original, but it's done well. So it's taken from a load of different sources.
No, fair enough.
Squished them all together, but it's entertaining. Like, that's probably the few times I've been back to the cinema since, we can go back to the cinema. This is one of the first films where I just lost myself in the film. I wasn't worried about how close people were sitting to me. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I was just, boom, I was into the film. So, yeah, if it does that, it's done its job. Unfortunately, I went to the cinema last night and saw another film that, if I hadn't watched at the cinema, I think I probably would have fallen asleep in. And I almost fell asleep.
Cinema's the perfect place to fall asleep watching a film.
So I saw Reminiscence, starring Rebecca Ferguson and Hugh Jackman. Those two people who are never in bad films.
And? Go on.
And it was directed by Lisa Joy, and you're going to say who, but she is one of the co-creators, directors, producers of Westworld with her husband, Jonathan Nolan. And, it's a film that exists, but truly it was just not very good. So, Hugh Jackman plays an ex-soldier, though he could have been an ex-cleaner for all the relevance it really has to the script and the story.
Where was his wife, Neil? That's what I want to know. Where was his wife?
Yeah, it's not his wife.
Oh. Where was she, Neil? Where was she?
Ask him. I don't think the scriptwriters wrote him one, to be honest. But anyway, his day job is he runs a memory tank business where people can come in and he can look in their minds and find out information for them. So he's got a little side job with the police where he can go into criminals' minds and go, that was that. There's the evidence. Boom. So it's a bit Minority Report, but again, nowhere near as good. But it's a really hard film to categorise because it's a sci-fi film set in the future. It's supposed to be a film noir with that whole detective story with the missing woman.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a romance, and it doesn't really do any of the 3 very well at all.
Oh, okay.
Now Jackman is usually excellent in everything, although I had seen him in one bad film previously, and it was where he played some like corrupt American politician, and that was just really, really bad film.
I'm a big fan of Jackman. He looks great in the trailer. Like,
yeah, well,
I guess you can cut anyone to look great. Just get their best shots and best highlights.
Well,
in the
the trailer I was like, okay, there doesn't seem to be a lot of action in this. This is going to be like a real intense psychological hard sci-fi drama / love story with 2 great actors.
Yeah.
So I'm there for it. And there was about 4 people in the cinema.
So that was exactly my thing as well. Like I was like from the trailer, I was like, how? And your reaction, because you told me beforehand that you didn't like it. Well, actually, you told the world on Twitter.
Yeah.
That you fucking hated it, but
not fucking hated it. I'm disappointed. Like it's not.
You literally said you'd have fallen asleep during it.
Yeah, because it was boring. Okay. But it was still competently directed. It was still competently shot.
If this is anything more than a 1 star, then
oh well, no, I'd have to give it 2, man. It'd have to be a 2.
Okay. But watching it, I almost find it difficult to have messed it up because even like you said, there was no one in the cinema for it. So it's clearly not been. There's something where it's been marketed really poorly, where people have just sort of seen it and then just fucking flown over it, ignored it. Maybe it's because it's so much like Inception. I don't know.
Well, it's not. It's not even close. I mean, that's what I thought. The trailer gave me Inception vibes.
It's its old voiceover at the beginning, and everything he's saying about it, like you're in a dream or whatever, and you're waking up or whatever. Like that. You're going on a journey. That entire fucking is full on Inception vibes.
So Jackman's just running this memory tank business, and in one of the most ludicrous scenes, Rebecca Ferguson walks in like she's just stepped off stage, and asks them if they can go in ahead to find her keys because she can't find her keys, and immediately you see him just like start falling in love with her when he's going through her memories. And then, you got Tandy Newton in it, completely wasted as his friend and tech girl, who's like,
someone goes to have her memories discovered because she's lost her car keys.
Yeah, that's literally, she's like, no, house keys. She's like, I can't find my house keys. Okay, come and get in a tank.
How much does it cost to use this piece of technology that he's created? Just because she's lost her fucking house keys. Wouldn't it have been easier to get a locksmith?
Well, they try and make him out to be a good guy. So, like, earlier on, he's got a friend who's, like, an ex-copper, and he lets him go in there, and he's like, I just want to see Angela one more time. And Angela's his fucking dog. And he's just, like, playing catch with his dog. I was like, oh, no. Like, already, like, this is, like, in the opening couple of minutes. But, like I say, you've got Tansy Newton in it, playing the tech girl, and she's also a former soldier, for some reason, because there's a whole mini subplot about how in the future, they're, like, global warming, and the film takes place in Miami, and it's too hot to do anything in the day, so the whole world comes alive at night. I mean, visually, it's really nice in those places.
It's too hot to do anything in the day, so the world comes together at night. What the?
Yeah.
Have people never been to Dubai? You know, like what? Okay.
I mean, and here's the thing, right? So Rebecca Ferguson, as always, is excellent, but she's not given really much to do. She's like a cipher. She's there as she turns up, he falls in love with her, and then she disappears, and it's a mystery. And what annoys me is if they'd gone the film, well, even when I saw the opening font, man, like for the title, it looked like BioShock, and I was like, oh yeah, sci-fi, water, it's gonna be cool, and it isn't because it doesn't do any of the 3 things. I mean, the opening shot is Jackman doing a typical film noir voiceover as he's walking down the road, and he's and it's raining and it's wet, and he's in a suit. And he finds a playing card, and he looks at it, and it's the Queen of Hearts.
Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Painted a picture there, Neil.
I know. I think I've done a better job than the filmmakers in that scene. And I was like, "This is easy." And I said, "Do you know what? This is going to be the last scene of the film as well, isn't it?" No spoilers, but I'm not far off the money. The problem is the film doesn't press in any one area. Like I was like, "Okay, it's going to be cool film noir, and it's going to be betrayal, and it's going to be bad guys." And there is, but not enough. It almost feels like a film that was definitely made during COVID restrictions, because so many of the scenes, there's just 2 people in it. There's not enough back.
Like, are they all like 50 foot apart? You know, like a wide angle to get them both in shot.
Well, you know, you can't tell that they've used good lenses, but it just doesn't feel like a full film, man. Like the cities at night, you know, like there should be more extras. There should be, and again, the budget wasn't massive. Well, I'll get into that in a minute. But the problem is the film doesn't press hard enough into any of the genres it's trying to do. It's not noirish enough to be a film noir. The romance behind them is fairly bland and obvious. And the sci-fi elements are largely ignored by the memory tank. It's kind of like, here's a bit of tech. It does this. Cool. Why are we in the future? Oh, well, there's bad guys and they have all the city and the money, but we're not really going to tie that into anything until a lot later, and then it doesn't really matter. Mate, it's definitely one to avoid, and like I say, despite some great work on Westworld, which also can be a divisive show, it's a bit of a red flag for me against Joy and Nolan. And do you know what their next project is? It's the very much anticipated video game adaptation of Fallout for Amazon. On the basis of this, it'll look nice, but man, they need a story. Man, and I mean, yeah, you know, Jackman was bad in this, man. He was boring. He had no charisma. So to get Jackman to be boring, that's quite bad. Rebecca Ferguson, excellent as always. The woman can do no wrong. So, as my tweet said, David, reminiscence, a film I wish I could forget. So, now on to our spoiler section.
Give me an S. Give me a P. This is taking too long. Spoilers ahead.
First up, David, you have finally caught up with a couple of great big films from the last month that have been out. So what do you want to talk about first? Suicide Squad or Jungle Cruise?
Should we hit Suicide Squad first?
So first of all, let me kick off with, I absolutely loved the fucking montage. People Who Died by Jim Carroll Band. It was covered by Against Me in the end of Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead, and it's just a blistering opening. I love the fact when you're just shooting between all the corpses of, well, you can call them the decoy team now.
Yeah. That's good. Let's refer to them as that, the decoy team.
Yeah. What was the first bit that just made you piss yourself?
The bloke with his arms come off, and then it goes.
Just
Oh
snapping.
no! Before that.
There's a bit before that.
When he can't swim.
Weasel.
Yes, when Weasel can't swim, that made me laugh.
Did anyone check if the Weasel could swim?
Yeah, that's the bit.
Brilliant. I loved it, man. I
thought Weasel was going to be a much bigger part in the film. Yeah. And he was, but to be honest, I'm kind of glad because he was fucking freaky. He was an odd thing to look upon.
He killed 32 children.
Bastard.
How did that line make it into the trailer? Still, I'm still shocked by it. Let alone being in the film.
It was fucking fantastic. It's a fantastic film. I mean, you can't compare it to the first one.
No.
But in comparison, it just fucking blows it out of the water.
I mean, let's move on to. I'm going to do kind of a little brief bit on some of the major characters because again, you had all the character posters, and probably half of them, or maybe even closer to 3/4, do not make it past that opening scene. Arm fall off man, the detachable kid, R.I.P. Blackguard. I mean, we don't even know what he did because he got shot in the head straight away.
Yeah,
Javelin dude.
Javelin dude. Yeah. He looked. You know what? I thought he was going to be the hero. He looked so beautiful when he was flirting away with Harley. I felt they had a bit of thing going on.
Yeah.
He did not last.
And when she gives him the spear, but who? What do I use it for? That was amazing. Starts slapping him in the face. Beautiful, man. I mean, okay, so I've got to move on to Idris Elba's Bloodsport, who had exactly the same backstory and intro scene as Will Smith's Deadshot from the first film. It was like, okay, here's if you don't help us, we're going to do something to your daughter. Literally the same.
Yeah,
but where
in
Smith's,
prison.
where Smith's doing his it's General Will Smith is, and he's like, I'm gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna help my daughter. I'm gonna be a good dad. You know, all that shit.
Yeah.
And Elba's just goes, fuck you. You know, that was brilliant.
Yeah.
And he did more with the same character, pretty much, because originally they didn't want to kill off Deadshot.
You can't say they're the same character because of the completely two fucking different approaches to how they fucking want to be portrayed, how they want to be seen. Elba doesn't give a shit.
No, that's down to the performance of the character. If you look at the basic character,
I don't think it is down to the performance. I think Will Smith's one was more. I think his entire character was more. You know, he wanted to be the good guy, but he's having to do all this shit to make money or whatever because he can't. Whatever.
Yeah, but Bloodsport, he doesn't want to be
very much like
he's over it all. He doesn't really want to do it.
Yeah, fuck everything.
No, but he was still a good guy at heart, and you knew that immediately early on when he has to kind of do it. And ironically, well, you get that bit when, just for me, Elba is massively more charismatic than Will Smith, with less screen time doing the same kind of character. Because, I mean, Suicide Squad 1 was essentially pretty much the Harley Quinn and Deadshot film. The other one's got such short shift. Here, with Gunn in charge, you knew all the characters were going to get an equal footing, you know. Well, as much as they can before the heads exploded in a lot of places. With Bloodsport, I mean, they even, you know, how cool was that intro? Oh, he's here because he put Superman in hospital with a kryptonite bullet. Yes! That makes him cooler than Will Smith's Deadsport
he's just
immediately.
Fucking cleaning up the prison,
Just
swapping away
cleaning,
casually.
And what song did they use? One of my favourite bands, the Decemberists, and the song is called Sucker's Prayer. Brilliant. Again, lyrics, music, tone, everything fits perfectly there. And just so good. I mean, still on one of the biggest complaints with the first film, again, bar it being shit, was the music. It was like the music. It was like a music video, wasn't it? Oh, it's a really good song, and it's just all cut to that. Next scene, another song. This one isn't as much. There isn't as many songs in it, but when they're used perfectly. And even the score, the main musical score in the film is really good. I love later on. You've got the Pixies' "Hey" used in that great slow-mo build-up to the big action scene towards the end of the film. I just loved it, man. So of course, moving on a little bit, I had to love the assault through the jungle. Why did my men not alert me, David? Why didn't they not alert me?
That, you know what? That was probably my funniest thing in the entire film. Was after they'd just gone through and fucking slaughtered everyone.
Nom.
Get in there, and it's like, and there's just that shit moment that they had between each other.
Well, and again, that shows you about Waller. She's an absolute shitbag in this. Like, even though she's behind a desk, she's just the Antichrist in this.
I know.
Evil.
You know what? I full on was just celebrated a little bit when she got whacked around the head.
Yeah,
fucking full on celebrated.
Yeah, and I mean that just shows you how great she portrayed the character. I mean, and of course we got to talk about one of the best surprises of the film, and that is Sebastian and Ratcatcher 2 just being completely adorable.
Wait, who was Sebastian again? Sorry.
Who was Sebastian? He was the rat.
That was the rat. That was the rat's name. Oh yeah,
Sebastian.
Oh, I fucking love that rat. I forgot that was his name. But no, that rat fucking stole the film.
Yeah, it's the rat waving at me. Yes, he wants to be friends.
Everything about it.
Look, he's brought you a leaf. I mean, the intro. This is Ratcatcher 2. Why? What happened to Ratcatcher 1? He's dead. And who is Ratcatcher 1? It's just once again Taika Waititi playing a heroin addict dying in the streets of Portugal.
Yeah.
And like, it was just like, it was such a dramatic scene, man. It's like, I feel like I'm watching. If I almost wanted to see that film, but it would be really dark and it have a shit ending. Like the young girl growing up on the streets of Portugal and learning, and then our old man dies of a heroin overdose. Like, okay, that's probably why it isn't a separate film, but at the same time, I wanted to see it. So we have to move on to the sad, sad tale of Polka Dot Man, who.
Yeah, man. You know what? That was one of my biggest shocks that he got killed off. Because he barely. I feel like you saw his powers, but it was all just. I felt like it was building for that moment where he does it and he takes out his leg or whatever.
But I mean, also he is just Norman Bates with a weird mother fixation. Doesn't he say about wanting to kill his mother?
All his mother's fucking. When he sees his mum in everything.
The club scene was horrific, man.
Well done.
In a film with this much gore and disturbing imagery, that is up there with one of the most disturbing things you're going to see in a film.
It was fucking brilliant.
And his backstory, it's like the Fantastic Four gone really, really wrong. It's like parents were scientists who experimented on them all. And if he doesn't expel the dots each day, he'll just burn up and explode. But, splat, R.I.P., Polka Dot Man.
See you next time.
I mean,
we won't.
And again, got to talk about Rick Flag. Who you referred to as the army guy from the original one.
Yeah, the army guy, who genuinely had a bloody personality in this one.
Yeah.
He was a character.
Joel Kinnaman, kicking back, being charismatic. It's funny because he's the lead actor in, what's the show I watch on Apple? For All Mankind. And he's really kind of stoic and unemotive in that. And I was like, perhaps that's just him. But yeah, like getting to see him cut loose in this, I was like, oh, great, brilliant. I will not be able to watch that show the same again after seeing him. And he gets murdered by, what a dick.
Fucking John Cena.
By Mr. Bag of Dicks. Cena sucks.
Cena sucks. Hey, Neil, let's go Cena.
No, no, I think you can't pedal back from fuck you Cena to Cena sucks. You've already gone there. I mean, but again, his Bag of Dicks monologue. I will kill any man, woman or child that's in my way for freedom. And come on, toilet bowl helmet was immense. And it's nice to see him play against type as a bad guy. I mean, he was good at murdering, man. Like when he's just walking through that jungle.
Fantastic. You know, one thing that you never got from WWE with John Cena is him as a heel.
Yeah,
because it's not a thing. But fuck me, he could do a good heel if he was if he decided to. And you know what? People now know what Heelz are because of your
Show.
Your show. But anyway, fuck yeah, he was brilliant.
Right, what other character? Oh, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Now, for me, I think this is the best performance she's given as Quinn. And a lot of people...
I mean, she did give a really good performance in the first one. And, you know, that's hence... She was the best thing about it.
Yeah, but that's not saying a lot, man. I mean, you could have farted for 3 minutes and looped it, and that would have been better than the last hour of that film. I did see some people on the internet moaning and going, no, they've just reduced her character again. No, that's a bunch of shit, right?
Reduced her character? What?
Yeah, because she falls in love with the evil general guy. I was like, no, that's a good thing.
That was one of the best. That fucking full-on made me jump. There was no jumps in the entire film, but when she shot him, I was just like, fucking hell.
And it's character development.
Natasha fucking fell off the sofa almost.
But it's character development, right? It's not old Harley, right? Because old Harley would have stayed with him despite him being bad for her. And whereas in this one, the second he mentions killing children, she just turns around and murders him.
Bang,
and rightly so. So it shows character growth and development for her character, because she's like, no, it will just end badly, so I'm just going to take care of it now. And murders him. Brilliant. Because she realises she doesn't need to be in toxic relationships.
She had so many beautiful moments.
Her escape scene.
I don't know if beautiful was there. Yeah, the escape scene.
No, that was
beautiful. At the very end, where she's sort of swimming in the Starrow's eye.
Dude, yeah, I mean, where's my bit on that? Yeah, when you've got Harley Quinn swimming in a giant alien starfish eye while a horde of rats eat it from the inside out, you know it's not a normal film you are watching. What I'd written on that.
I mean, that entire sequence was fucking mental.
I think some people might have been turned off the film at that point because it just goes super goofy. But do you know what? It goes for it. It never takes itself...
You know what? I've realised I've started swearing a lot since I've started talking about Suicide Squad. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because it has a lot of swears in it.
But they don't say the C word.
They don't
and of course, this brings you to one of the points that you wanted to raise, David, which is...
how the bloody hell is that film not an 18? It is... Okay, I'm going to run through it all, okay? So it's got enough gore in it to be an 18. We literally see people's heads being blown off. We see people getting eaten. We see people getting their arms ripped off.
I mean, 3/4 of that is King Shark.
There's a lot of gore in the film. There's boobies. We see boobies in the film. Like, I think two people's boobies. Two different people's boobies. We see a penis in the film.
That's just John Cena, isn't it?
There's very bad language in the film. I think the only thing that we don't have is sex and drugs to make it to be like an 18. But from what there is, how is that not an 18? I mean, it must have been on the cusp. The person that was sorting that out must have been like, oh, if that was on screen for another millisecond, that penis was just a little bit closer to the camera.
Where was the penis? Oh yeah, I remember the penis. The penis was in the background.
There's a penis. Yeah. I noticed that penis now.
I bet you did.
But there's how is it not an 18? Genuinely.
Do you know why? Because in England, I think you only get an 18 if you say the word cunt. And that's us ticking it. And that's us ticking the explicit content box on when I upload this pod as well.
Yeah, we're gonna get flagged now. We're like, oh shit, we can't upload that.
I'm not giving back a super yacht, man. I'm keeping it.
Genuinely, do you know why that's not an 18?
Because it's fantastical violence. It's done in a way where they're fighting creatures. They're fighting people who are not, when they got the squid heads on and all that.
All the gore is to humans. It's to men. It's just to regular army people,
R.I.P. Rebel jungles in a rebel. Jungles in a rebel. Rebels in a jungle. I don't know, mate. I think it's more to do with the fact it's language and content. It's done in a comic book. It's almost become a thing now. If it's comic book violence, like Kick-Ass, right? If the violence is done in a comic book-y way, it's not as...
Does that genuinely come into the people that do these certificates? Does that actually come into the thinking of that? This is a comic book film, so the violence doesn't matter?
Because it's more fantastical, because it's comic book characters, so it's not real, even though they are killing real people in the jungle. R.I.P. rebels in the jungle. But and it's not. It's because it's not. Every time there's powers and things like that, it's not. You know, when are you actually going to see a shark rip someone in half?
I reckon if you had someone snorting cocaine in that film, it would have been. It would have been.
I don't know about. I think drugs obviously push it up a bit, but yeah, like you say, I don't think there's any drugs in it, and there's no sex because obviously people are more scared by boobs than they are of entrails.
Nudity. There's a lot. There's not a lot of nudity, but there are those.
No, and it's in the background
where there's nudity.
Yeah, but it was a penis in the background. It wasn't like a.
It was still there. It was still, what?
David, get off the penis.
Can you mention? You mentioned one other film that's got a penis in it that isn't an 18.
Listeners, if you know one other film that has a penis in it that Essen does on it that isn't an 18 certificate, please let us know after the pod. I don't know, David, and I really want you to get off the penis.
Sorry, I'll jump off that penis for you.
Yes, thank you. So quickly on to King Shark. All I can really say about King Shark is num 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 bird. He's fucking awesome, man. That whole okay, even King Shark gets an arc of friendship, man. Like it's so cool. Like when he tries to eat Ratcatcher too early on, he's like, "Hey," and they try and like shoot him. He's like, "No." He's like, "Friends." And then he makes the Peacemaker toy.
Yeah, the film was the entire film's brilliant. It really was.
And then when he sees the little I couldn't remember. This is where I got confused between this and Jungle Cruise. When he's in the water, when the tank breaks and he's in the water, and you see all these little fish pop up, and he's like, "Oh, look how cute they look! They look like something out of a Pixar film."
Yeah, and then they start munching on him.
I think when James Gunn come aboard, he literally laid down the law. If this is what I want to do, there will be no sequels. Because I mean, they could do more because there's loads of Suicide Squad comics, and he could do something similar. But I don't think he wants to repeat himself. So he's going to go off, do Guardians 3, and then apparently he's got a deal with DC now where they can pretty much do what he wants with DC properties. And, you know, I don't think DC are going to complain because this is easily their best reviewed film. I know people are moaning about it not taking as much money as they think it should take, but it's, again, you know, COVID spiking in America.
Yeah, that's just pandemic.
You can't look at any box office.
If this came out post-COVID, it would be...
over 100 million opening weekend, easy. And it's proof that R-rated films can be a big success. I think Deadpool kind of paved the way for it, didn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
What else have I got? So only one little thing I wasn't sure at the end. Why does a rat running over you if you've got a squid on your face immediately make you fall over? Like, I mean, there was a lot of them, but why were people suddenly like going, "Oh," and like falling to the floor? I was just kind of like, I don't get how the rats just like make you fall over. But moving on to the end of the film, David, our first post-credit scene. Weasel survives. Oh yeah, he's alive. Yeah,
he's back.
He's alive to go and murder more children.
I was quite happy with that. I know, you know what? Like I said, I was also quite happy that he wasn't in the rest of the entire film because he was fucking odd to look at. Isn't Weasel? But you kind of, you know what? There's something about him that you kind of just love. I think it's the eyes. It's his little cute eyes, you know.
Yeah. He says about the character who's literally murdered 32 children.
I'm not 100% sure what he was going to be doing on this mission, on this decoy mission, because it looks like he doesn't. It looks like he's pretty useless. He's kind of just about.
He can't.
You know, what does he do?
He can't swim.
Does he run and eat stuff? Is that what his thing is?
He's a weasel. That is.
Yeah, but how is that handy? How is that helpful on a mission?
I don't know, David. I'm not the director, and I'm not in the Suicide Squad. But then we have what was Weasel's powers? I'm sure you can just Google it and it'll tell you, man. Because if he's been there before, I doubt in the comics, right? Weasel turned up, drowned, and then that was it. I'm sure he actually did stuff if they're going to include him. And then our second post-credit sting with Peacemaker still alive and with a new mission. What's his mission? To save the fucking world. And a trivia fact for you, David. You know the blonde woman in the office who kept saying stuff? That's James Gunn's girlfriend.
Oh, was it really? Okay.
Yep.
Oh, nice. Good for James Gunn.
I mean, you know, he's having a good life at the minute.
he's not doing bad, is he?
Yeah.
I was happy that Peacemaker survived that because I didn't want the Peacemaker show to be a prequel.
Which is what they told us, and we still thought going into it, and so now it might not have to be. So I reckon he's probably planning a Peacemaker film, right? Yeah. Like after the show, maybe. Like I reckon the show could still be a prequel, but then at the end of the show, they come and recruit him for someone else.
I really hope it's not a prequel. I really hope it's not. Unless it's sort of half and half.
Okay, so I think that rounds up our thoughts on the Suicide Squad. Generally, we loved it. It's definitely going to be in our top 10 films of the year, David.
5-star film. 5-star film.
I mean, this might even be my film of the year. I know I might have to see some more like classy films. When Oscar season that rolls around, that might get on there. But I mean, for pure entertainment, and having you rolling in the aisles, this was it, man. So quickly on to Jungle Cruise. So, David, what did you think?
I was a bit disappointed, if I'm honest. I was a bit disappointed. I really thought I'd love it. Everything about it. I genuinely thought I'd love the film. But I feel like it disappointed me a little bit. I think the Disney, the whole Disney movie magic, that whole thing, I felt it with Pirates of the Caribbean, Disney movie magic. I feel like it didn't have that. It didn't necessarily have anything that was magical about it. It was very...
So I reckon if you're a kid today, you'll love Jungle Cruise. You won't care about any of that other stuff because you haven't seen those films. I reckon if you're in and it is skewered quite young for the audience, I think. I mean, visually, it's amazing, man. And when you learn that it's pretty much all filmed in a tank somewhere in Atlanta, when you're watching that, I'm just like, they have done a fantastic job making that look real. I mean, you do feel immersed in it, man, and the cinematography, the
Jungle
the
Cruise,
CGI
sorry.
work. Yeah. Well, what else would I be talking about?
I don't know, you said boats.
What?
Boats as in, I thought we were still on about pirates.
Well, good God.
Sorry, yeah, no, okay. No, I can see what you mean. There was some very impressive stuff with it. But I feel like everything wasn't done as well as previous. Like, for example, Pirates of the Caribbean, I'm sure you're the same. It's a film that you can go back to any time and just watch it and just enjoy it for what it is. You go back and watch it. It could be a yearly film almost that you just go back and watch.
I wouldn't go that far.
It would be that would be the case for a lot of people. I don't think Jungle Cruise is that film. It isn't, which is what Disney wanted it to be. I don't think it is that film that people are going to want to go back and watch every year. I don't see myself watching Jungle Cruise again for maybe another 5 years, and then I'll go back to it.
Until Jungle Cruise 2, Electric Boogaloo. I think it's done quite well, to be fair, man. Because it was, I know it was released in the cinemas and on Disney Plus at the same time, and I know just like the previous Disney Plus one, just like Black Widow, it's done quite well on.
I'm not comparing it to what other people think. I'm comparing it to what I think of it, and I was disappointed.
All right.
I thought it was I think you were correct when you sold it to me when you saying it was The Mummy crossed with Pirates of the Caribbean. But it was both aspects of the film, both films,
not as good,
just not as good. Yeah.
Right. So I'm going to run through my notes quickly, David, and feel free to check in. The opening, an awesome use of one of my favourite Metallica songs, and that was actually Metallica doing that version. They've done a new orchestral version of Nothing Else Matters, so that was pretty cool. So you're always going to get me on side opening with Metallica.
If you hit you with Metallica straight away.
Yeah.
Ticking the box for nil.
Exactly. The acting, I mean, Emily Blunt, The Rock, and even Jack Whitehall was surprisingly.
Jack Whitehall I thought was fantastic in it, which also surprised me because I thought he was going to be that sort of really awkward, clumsy sort of that Jack Whitehall character that you see in other films. Yeah, but I feel like he wasn't. I feel like he was still that, but I felt like he surprised me actually with his.
And like you mentioned, it rips off The Mummy with the brother-sister combo, doesn't it?
Yeah, and she is. It's Rachel Weisz. It's what's Rachel Weisz's character in The Mummy called? Evie. It's Evie.
And John Hannah's brother in it.
Yeah,
who's useless in that.
Yeah, the two completely different takes on the brother and how they deliver comedy, but that's still it's the same formula.
I did like the subtle way that they handled the because it's a period piece. And they still tackled the fact that Whitehall's character is gay, and that she stuck up for him and stopped him getting abuse and all that. So that's why he'll go to the end. So that worked in very well. It didn't need to be anything more than that, and it was done very well. So
yeah, subtly done, and
having said that,
not subtly done with the sexism part of the whole period piece.
Pants.
Yeah.
Have you got pants on under your pants?
Yeah, the first time it was funny. And then the joke it wore off quite quickly.
Yeah. So I think the villains were quite underwritten as well. I mean, you got Jesse Plemons, who's a brilliant actor, and he's just token German guy who wants a magic leaf. I mean, and that's what I really didn't like about the film, man. I actually thought all the stuff on the boat when it's The Rock, the Rock, Emily Blunt, and Whitehall riffing and bouncing off each other. That was great. That was the best stuff of the film for me. When I started getting bored was the plot and the lore and there's a magic flower in the Amazon, I don't care. And I'm sorry, but that whole curse thing with the conquistadors, isn't that just exactly the Pirates of the Caribbean curse? Pretty much the whole thing with the people from Davy Jones' Locker and all that. It's not exactly the same, but it's very close.
It's very similar, yeah. There's not much difference.
It almost made me think that, when they come up with when they had the pitch meeting, like, right, Pirates, theme park ride, let's make it into a movie. Right. Jungle Cruise, theme park ride, make it a movie. We got a curse. Yep, okay, brilliant. And they're literally just ticking off the same boxes because it did feel very much the same film in those kind of ways. I liked the performances. The performances were great. I really liked The Rock. Really underplayed it well. You know, he didn't have to be a big muscly action guy all the time in it, so that was quite good. And his dad jokes, man, you must bonus points.
I did enjoy the dad jokes. I did enjoy the dad jokes. A lot of the puns I did enjoy. They were good. In fact, that was probably one of my that was probably the best thing in the film.
I knew you was going to love that. I mean, I felt a kinship from those early passengers because this is what it's like doing the pod with you, David.
Mummy, make him stop.
Mummy, make him stop. I'll not stop. I'll never stop.
The one thing that really, really pissed me off with the film was the ending with The Rock's character. I've forgotten his name. Skipper.
Yeah.
When he sort of sacrifices himself, and then there's that whole, oh, it's so sad. Oh, I've got this one leaf. Do I give it to him, or do I, save the world and humanity with this leaf, petal, whatever the fuck it was,
magic leaf?
I'll give it to him, and that was it. And during that entire sequence, I just thought, why don't you just fucking wait until the moon comes back out again? Which is exactly what happens. And at the end, and then there's the moon sort of strings pieing, and then they get it and done. And that it was just all fucking pointless. All that emotional scene, that sacrifice. Just fucking wait for the moon to come out again. You could give him, I don't know, the entire thing.
Mate, and he died once already. And he fell out of the thing, and they left him in the thing, and they thought he was dead. Remember?
Oh yeah. There was that. That was more of a fake out for us as the audience, wasn't it? Because we didn't know at that time that he was immortal, essentially.
I mean, do you know what, mate? That is a bit where the film, for me, just slowed down to a glacial pace when we got that.
It wasn't very well
scene.
paced either, I don't think.
Oh no,
the film. There were moments where it made me. I genuinely. When I start drifting off during a film, I feel like there's something wrong where it's not well. Like Suicide Squad, fucking nailed it with its pacing. It knew when to hit its highs and it knew when to bring you back down again. This film, I felt, had too much time down in the middle bit, waiting for something to. And when it went high, it didn't go high enough.
And when it went slow, it stopped. I mean,
yeah.
We're an hour and 40 into the film, and here's 20 minutes of backstory about The Rock's past. And how is it? And I was like, I don't care. Can we just skip ahead? I've watched it twice now, and I did enjoy it more the second time, but I was appreciating, like you say, the performances and the CGI and how visually it looked, and so it's, for me, this is I'm going to say a 3-star film. It's in the middle.
It was a 3-star film. I was it's not a bad film, but I was very disappointed based off what I wanted it to be.
But that's down to you.
It is down to me, but I think a lot of people wanted it to be that. And I think a lot of people will be disappointed as well.
Anytime you bill a film as it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark, crossed with Pirates, crossed with or any of these classic Romance in the Stone, all these films, you're holding up your film to insane criticism from the get-go, because it's probably not going to be as good as those classic films.
Yeah,
I mean,
arguably, it had the potential
Pirates
to be something really special.
Yeah, and you never know. If it does well enough, they do a sequel. They might go, right, we don't have to explain any of these bollocks. We can actually just go and do a proper story the second time. So, there was so much exposition in the film that I just didn't care about. I mean, I do love that The Rock consistently lied throughout the film. I mean, when the tribe attacked them and kidnapped them the second time?
Yes.
I was just oh, they're actually being killed. I did not realise.
Same. I thought that was like the genuine tribe.
Yeah, I thought that was really well done.
The same one that we were introduced to earlier in the film. Yeah, that was a good fake out.
And the other thing that I didn't buy at all was the relationship between The Rock and Emily Blunt's character. I just didn't see it as a
romance relationship.
It felt really tacked on.
That was very much. Oh wait, you're the main protagonist of this film. I'm the main female protagonist. Oh, we should get together. We should love each other. Let's have sex. You know what? Me and you. I'm a man. You're a woman. Let's get together. That was it. There was nothing more to it.
I can only think what John Krasinski thought when he saw the script, man. But it's just there was such a focus put on. Okay, it's set in olden times, but we still have to show that Emily Blunt's character is a strong, independent woman, which is great. All for that stuff. And her opening scene, stealing the thing, is brilliant. She falls out the window, falls out, shipping out tomorrow, boys, brilliant. And she was brilliant throughout. But I didn't think her character would fall for it. I think her character would be like, cool, I've got the thing, I'm going to go back, I'm going to become a world-famous scientist, and that. I'm not just going to teach The Rock to drive with his Tiger in fucking London. It didn't make any sense. I thought they would have had guts and said it doesn't actually need to have that. You know, The Rock could have, and they could have killed off The Rock. He could have
They could have just,
because he wanted to.
That was the whole problem that I mentioned earlier. That entire scene, I was just thinking, just fucking wait for Moonlight to come out, and it's irrelevant. It was so irrelevant.
Yeah. And then if they had let him freeze in the cave because he wanted to, and she'd left, and then been a big success in that, then you could have set it up for a sequel where some bad guys try and free him and get him as a bad one working for them or something. And she has to. You could have
had her as an old woman travelling back there.
It's been 84 years.
Yeah, and giving him a little petal after she'd fucking made a cure for everything out of the petal and given it to him, and then there was that.
That's still pirates when they get really old, isn't it?
And then he could have been like, hello, pants, or whatever, at the end, and that would have been quite a lovely little moment. But again, that would have been very pirates as well.
Both endings we just done were easily better than what they did in the film, though, man. So, although CGI Tiger was good, I like the Tiger, that was also good. And you see the big bonus points for that. So, was
it a tiger?
I don't know, some kind of giant cat.
A big cat, it was a big cat, whatever it was.
Right, I think that about rounds us up for this week, David. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
I think we've speed run our way through this pod once again, and we covered a hell of a lot today. So, I don't know what to say. I'm going away on holiday.
I finished Handmaid's Tales, the first season, by the way. It's fucking great. You should watch it.
Don't finish the podcast on a downer, man.
You should watch it, Neil. It's brilliant.
No, I don't want enough. I've got enough misery porn in my life. I do not want to watch The Handmaid's Tale.
Misery porn?
That's what they refer to shows like The Handmaid's Tale, misery porn. It shows where people are Look it up, but under safe search.
Okay.
And perhaps put misery porn in relation to TV and films.
Okay.
And then you might not just get loads of dodgy porn.
Okay.
And on the note of David downloading loads of dodgy porn, that's where we're going to call it a day. See you next time.
Bye.
We needed roads.